Greetings. Welcome to 5 Play Friday. Hold on just a second. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. We've got lovely weather going on here, and we are excited. The basketball season has started. We are pumped. I hope everybody has a game tonight, Friday night, basketball night. Around here, we've got tournaments going on. I've got a tournament game tonight, so I don't know the teams involved, but we'll see how it goes, you know. A lot of times we show up and we find out who we've got. Kamali, I think that page might be broken, and I apologize for that. Yes, the tech team. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? They're probably sleeping right now. Randy Hubbard, good to see you. David Backen is in the house from Moscow, Idaho. And Tom Hickey, show supporter from Milwaukee. How the Bucks doing? Warriors pulled one out last night with a depleted starting lineup. The Zooch is here. Should we delay any further? Let's get going. Good to see you, Zooch. It's always something. Good to see you, Brett. Where is Joe Raza? He is reclining on a beach in Florida bright and early in the morning. Hello, Kenneth Fort from Pennsylvania. Stan Bickler from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here comes the Pennsylvania contingent. David, I'm going to go Heger. You let me know if I'm wrong. That would be the German pronunciation. Jason, you are working too hard. Your assigners must love you. Yeah, I had a little delay because I had to update this thing down below. I have to update it each week. I'd failed to do that, so yeah, we've done that now. Swing for the ring. All right, first game tonight. Excellent. Always exciting. And your birthday. What more could you ask? That's pretty tremendous. Randy Wilson's in the house from rainy Chicago. Sean showing his age. And when Average White Band came onto the radio early on, it was like, whoa, what is this? They were a big deal all of a sudden. I remember that. I mean, I was only like 1 or 2 at the time, but good morning, Mike. What's the weather like in Alaska? Give us an update. Joe in Humboldt, what do we got up there? Probably rain, huh? Interesting. What's up, Al? Good to see you. Richard Smith, the Razorback state is represented. Shane Harris, good to see you. Oh, okay. All right. It's great to see things starting up. I mean, because it's different everywhere, right? So we've been going for at least a couple of weeks here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. And, of course, JC season starts, collegiate season starts a little sooner. Mike Connor's in the house. What do you got, Mike? Case play? Yeah. It's 7:13. Yeah. We can sneak it in. North Carolina is in the house. Stan Whipple. Good to see you, Stan. How are you in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area? Stan with the double N. Not to be messed with. Mark Goldman in the house. Steeler fan. Of course, 49ers and Eagles have a important game this weekend. We'll see. And Billy Mack is in the house. Darwin Sonata, good to see you. Isaac McAllister got picked up, I guess, by a second association. That must represent something, Isaac. Have you been improving your game? Right. You see these posts on social media for basketball, for high school players, it's just like, and one of them is just try to be the player that the coach cannot afford not to have on the floor. And of course that applies to officiating as well. It's just like I have to have this guy working my games. That's right. I can't leave him out. Aaron Bender from Wisconsin. All right. Excellent. Upstate New York. Somebody might have been born in upstate New York. My father went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and I was born in Troy, New York. It's a true story. Have family living up there. Keith Schraff, Dayton, Ohio. Awesome. Wow. Chuck Ratliff. Good to see you, Chuck. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have. The host school could be involved, but usually the host school plays before the last game so that they can use the players as manual labor to close the gym down. So I would assume that I don't have them. I think it's the last game of the night. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Casey from Kansas is in the house. Good to see you. Mark Ensign, Salt Lake City. We are well represented across the country. Hey, Larry, good to see you. Awesome. Wow. There's a lot of people in the chat. This is tremendous. Wait a minute. No bueno. Are you having the, of course, after James Wiseman here in the Bay Area, are you having the trim or the reconstruction? We have an official here, one of our top varsity officials. His estimate was to be back in just a few weeks. If you've got season over, probably the greater of the surgeries. That's too bad. I apologize, I'm sorry. That sucks. Ray Allen from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. Don's got his first game tonight. Sounds like tonight is the night across America. Here's Mike's quick case play. Team A, spot throw in on the opponent's end line. A1 is on one side of the lane, releases the ball on a diagonal throw-in pass towards A2. I think I know where this is going. So he releases a throw-in pass onto the court, but it's at a very sharp angle or a very unsharp angle, right? Here's the division line. Here's the pass moving onto the court, but at a flat angle. B1 reaches through the plane and touches the ball while it is still on the out-of-bounds side of the plane, right? So if a thrower releases a throw-in pass, the defender during the throw-in may not penetrate the plane until the throw-in pass is released. So if this was a throw-in pass thrown to a player on the court, it was being passed onto the court, this would be a legal deflection by the defender. Even if they violated the boundary plane, the restriction on the boundary plane disappears upon the release of the throw-in. If that same player, rather than a throw-in pass he was throwing to a teammate who was out of bounds, then it would not be considered a throw-in pass, and the reaching through, penetrating the boundary plane, and contacting the basketball would be a player technical foul. So this judgment is really going to come into play in this situation, but that is a legal play. It's important with throw-ins, jump balls, free throws to understand when the restrictions start and when the restrictions end. Of course, all restrictions will end on one of the three restarts at the end of that restart, the end of the jump ball, the end of the free throw, the end of the throw-in, But there's also restrictions during restarts that sometimes end between when the restart starts and when the restart ends, right? Players in marked lane spaces cannot enter the lane until the ball is released by the thrower, right? So there's a restriction that disappears once something happens in the event, but the throw-in has not ended itself, or the free throw in that situation and the throw-in in this situation. So that's a great case play, one to understand. Many officials believe that you can never violate the boundary plane as a defender during a throw-in. That is not true. The restriction on violating the boundary plane ends when the throw-in pass is released. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Oh, you see, my geography about upstate New York is, I don't know. That's awesome. All right. We got to get going, man. We got to get going. All right. Ay. Okay. Let me make sure. Let's take a look. I've got my plays queued up. Got the graphics. Tech team has set me up for success. Let's do it. Mike, it's not illegal as long as the official in their official's judgment, it was a throw-in pass. And so obviously, since the teammate is on the court and not out of bounds or stepping out of bounds. Yeah. Mike Eastbrook, cold and gray Denver. Okay. All right. Am I in the right place? All right. Okay. We are at the living at the edge for this episode. That's all I'm going to say. All right. The basketball season across the country is getting started. We're super excited about hitting the court, officiating high school games, but we always want to get better. One of the ways we do that is we look at game video, look at plays, analyze all the things. If that's what you're into, let's do that. Let's do that today. Stick around. Greetings and welcome back to 5 Play Friday, the show where we analyze game video and get better as basketball officials. Greetings, my name is Greg Austin. Appreciate you joining today. One of the things we do is we analyze all of the things. We have a tough play, a you make the call play to get us started. What's it going to be? Block charge. That's our theme this year. Block charge play. What do you have? What do you have on play number 1?
Stidham now.
Stidham is probably their best.
Okay. No, that's not going to work.
Here's Stidham now.
Stidham is probably their best three-point shooter. Oh,
and a block.
All right, a tough block charge play, center side drive, across the lane, away from the center. What do you have on this play? Block charge, call correct, put your ruling into the comments, and stick around to the end of the video because we will analyze all of the things on play number 1. With that, let's move on. Play number 2. Except for live stream viewers, and we will look at all of the things. Okay, I got you. Hey, back at the start of the video, play number 1 was a block charge play. What did you have on the play? Let's look at all of the things on play number 1.
Here's Stidham now.
I'm sorry, hold on.
Stidham is probably.
All right, so our center gets an open look on the play. Drive, defender, moving laterally on the play. Offensive player changes their body position, drives into the defender. What do you have on this play? I've got an offensive foul here, player control. Our defender was legal. Now, we've had many similar plays where we have defenders who are embellishing contact, etc. Does this defender embellish contact? No. This defender was displaced. So we have to ask ourselves, was this defender legal? If the defender is legal and they are displaced, that is not a defensive foul. That is an offensive foul by rule. That's what I have on this play. Is the defender in the path of the ball handler? No, but we have our ball handler who essentially goes outside of their path with their upper body, displacing the defender on the play. I've got a player control foul here. What did you have, right? We could talk about it in the play, in the description. We could talk about it in the comments below. All right, fantastic. Thanks for sticking around today. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the show. Much appreciated, much love. If this is the kind of content you find valuable as a basketball official, be a great time to do all the thing. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the notify so that you don't miss out on any of our video content. We go live every Friday. Join us on the live stream. Put your voice in the game. All right, we've got more block charge plays for you today. I've got a video here. I have a link, an important link here as well. Take advantage of those, and we'll see you in the very next video. Take care, everybody. All right, I have done all that I need to do now. No. Was the audio playing over me there? God damn it. I'm struggling.
Michael And once
Ay. Sorry, everybody.
we have a block.
We have a diversity is, I see. This is the next play. All right, so one of the things we could talk about on the play is right here, we would expect our lead official to be at least in a closed down position and ready to rotate, right? What do we have? We have the key, I think this is probably our key post matchup. We got a player who's not really a post player here, but they set up. In the post, I would expect a rotation in this play, but our official has a great look on the play. And I would have expected them to have a better, they have the look that they need on the play. They can see the offensive player find the defender. Yeah, interesting. You always have to ask yourself, Al, as you take to the floor and your crew is ready to go. You always know your crew, we're ready to go. And then something happens 10 seconds into the game and you realize, well, maybe not. Yeah, I don't even know that this is a block at higher levels, right? I mean, we have a defender who's not in the path, but our offensive player, to me, goes outside of their path. They didn't just continue; they found the defender and lowered into. So I don't know if it's that cut and dried, but it's definitely player control in high school, I believe. Brett has head and shoulders past. Do we have that on this play? Let's take a look. I don't think that applies here, Brett. Again, I think we have a legal defender. Well, Jason, I tell you what, you can really use Chris Janish as your role model, right? He's always got it, very meticulously crafted, where it's the hand up and that hand is the pointing hand. I don't think there's any clarification, using mechanics. Mark's got player control. Randy's got charge. Oh. All right. Ship it. Yeah. We are in the first period. Okay. All right. Play number one. All right. Play number two. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. For live stream viewers, let's look at play number two. Also, a tough play to officiate. I am.
Michaelewski. And what's the call here? We have a block.
All right. Tough to officiate because there's a couple things going on this play. We're evaluating the legality of the defender here, but also the legality of the offensive player who extends an arm, wraps it around the defender. Both the contact and the wrapping seem to occur at approximately the same time, making this a tough play to adjudicate. Our defender was moving laterally or obliquely. They were moving obliquely in this case, backwards and to the side. That's what obliquely means. And our offensive player wraps them, brings them, that action is going to bring the defender into their body as well. We had, apparently the lead had something on the play as well. Would appear from their body language that they were looking in the offensive foul direction on this play. Our officials in a good position. But they're not in good position to see that off arm by the dribbler. If you are the lead official here, right? So we note that our trail has a patient whistle. They don't make a call immediately upon contact. It's more when the player goes. If you are a center official here, and, could you come with a foul here as well and have the player control foul occurring first? Or did it occur first? Or did the placement occur? That's a tough play to officiate. Tough play to officiate. We've got action by the coach. The offended coach on the play is not pleased. Our center official has to address, in the soft manner, address their comment, behavior, etc., response to the call. Of course, a coach having a response to a call, not agreeing with a call, is not the end of the world. That's something that they're going to do. But of course, we have to have a proper decorum. So, a tough play here. Block, charge, could go either way, depending on which you had first on the play. Tough one. One to review the habits and fundamentals of the officials. If you're the lead official here, are you going to fight for an offensive foul here? And by fight, you have to come in quick with a whistle and say, partner, first I've got the hook by the offensive player, right? So, something to review in the game are habits and fundamentals, but a tough call. Very, very tough call. That. Since we got 2 plays. I think this is where we are. And now I'm going to be confused because we're going to have comments on 2 different plays. Hey, Dave. Larry, BHD is ball handler dribbler. It's a women's collegiate term. I don't know if the men use it as well. This is a tough play. Hold on. I think we definitely have torso contact, but of course the ball handler pulls the defender into her body. Right? So obviously legal defender at this point. I do not see that as a hand check. Somebody mentioned hand check. The hand being placed on the hip there, I'd consider it inconsequential. It's not a hot stove touch, but at the same time, it's not affecting rhythm, speed, balance, quickness. Our defender continues to move laterally and obliquely on the play. There's definitely torso contact. Man, that's a tough play. That's a tough banger. If the lead had come out on this play and said, come out strong with a double whistle on the play and said, I've got offensive on the hook, right? I think the game would have said, yeah, that was the right call on this play. But this is really tough. That is the question, Rick. That is the question. Sorry I didn't get to your plays. Oh, this play came first. This play came first. So we've got potentially 2 calls going against the defense. I didn't realize that they were so closely. So we really get, these 2 tough call block charge plays, or 2 block charge plays, have sort of set the tone. We certainly cannot have something different at the other end of the floor. That is a context clue, Mike, but yeah. Again, the ball handler dribbler, though, brings the defender into her, preventing her from like getting, her knees potentially out of the way. Tough. Yeah. And of course, so that's a great point. So our team fouls here are 4-0. We're in the first period. Visiting team, right? Is this a visitor from across town or is this a visitor from miles away who've come? And it's just like, oh, these referees, we've got home cooking tonight. All of these optical things are things we have to keep in mind. But again, this is a tough play. It's a tough play. It's tough for the trail, right? The trail, from their position, they're not going to be able to see that hook, right? So that's why as lead, if you are lead on this play and you see that hook and you think that's the determining factor on the play, you can't just raise your hands like this, like hold on a second or something like that. You've got to come out strong, right? I've got to call first, partner, before, first, hook, offense, boom, big production, and sort of take the call away from the trail official, right? One of the things we want to do as officials is referee where our partners cannot. Can our partner, as trail, see this off-arm hook by the offensive player? No, they cannot. And we have to know that from our position on the court and potentially, come say, hey, I've got something first, right? I say the thing that makes this a foul is the hooking action, and that overrides the subsequent fall by the defender. So something to think about as working as lead. All right, let's, wait a sec. That is one of the toughest calls we can make, I think, on a game. But you know what's not a tough call? Thanking our tremendous show supporters. Who's up on the big board today? Tom Hickey, Mo Klotz, Herb Hahn, Darwin Sonata, and Mark Skolnick. Much appreciated and much love. You want to buy us a coffee? There'll be a link down in the show description, down in the first pinned comment, and I'm going to put one up above. Awesome. Let's move on. Let's look at our very next play. All right, another block charge play. Notice how the trail on this play is on an island, right? We've got this horns action by the offensive team. We've got 6 players in close proximity, screening action. It's all in the lap of the trail official. Did we get this play right? Let's take a look. So we have a legal defender who extends an arm into the path of the ball handler, right? That's the cue, I think, for our official on this play. But did the extension of that arm impede our ball handler, or was there torso contact? Yeah, I think we might have gotten this one wrong. I think this is a charge. Our ball handler goes into the torso of the defender. But we've got a lot going on here, right? We're evaluating the screening action. Again, it's tough because our defender extends an arm, but does the arm extended, impair the ball handler, who then subsequently immediately goes into the chest of the defender? Are we evaluating their path? That was a legal defender other than the extended arm. It's another tough play, but we've got an emphatic signal at the spot by the official. This is great. We've got designation of the spot. This is great, right? All of our habits and fundamentals on the spot, in an instant. We make a ruling on a play like this. We may think about it later. It's like, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But we don't want to display any lack of strength on the court. I think our official was looking at that extended arm and made the ruling based on that. Again, our visiting team just getting the short end of the stick. Again, visiting team already has 3 fouls. It's very similar situation, something we have to be aware of. All right, block charge, block charge, block charge. All right, fantastic. With that, let's move on. Next play. Except for live stream viewers, let's go back, let's go back, let's go back. Yes. Why is that a thing? Why are we allowing? The new undershirt rule is so simple, and yet, officials are confused by it. Kevin, I think that's definitely a factor. Right? Officiating the defense. I think this play sort of sets our official up for not focusing on the ball handler themselves. They evaluate the ball handler and see the extended arm, and that's the decision maker on the play. But there's a lot going on the play. Right? If we look at the head movement, right? Would you be staying with that screening action right there? If you're the lead here, right? What can you officiate? If you're center, what can you officiate? This is, our part of the problem here is our official, our trail official is on an island with all of these players to officiate. Are we going to stay with this screening action and then maybe be a little late? Yeah. Tough play. Don't know what you can do there if you, yeah. All right. Well, Andrew, that's sort of the point. As a new official, right? So there's many ways it's expressed. One of the ways is, okay, we have to evaluate the legality of our ball handler dribbler, and we also have to evaluate the legality of the defense. Which is most important? If we understand that evaluating the defense is job one, and give most of our attention to evaluating the defense, then we're fundamentally in a better position to make rulings on plays. So as a young official, right, that's what we need to do, is learn to look to the defense first and ignore the ball handler, right? And sort of like shift our framework, shift our understanding. I need to evaluate the defense. That's much more important. And then work back to say, how can I keep more of an awareness of the ball handler? Now, of course, as human beings, right? The ball, right? And like sometimes as a new official, you might find yourself, I'm looking right at the ball handler. And there's no I'm not looking at anything else because we're attracted to it. Right? So if you can make that shift and say, you know what, I'm going to leave the ball handler stuff alone and just referee the defense and use that as a starting point and then work backwards and say, I need to have more of an awareness of what's going on. So one of the formulas that's often suggested is 70% defense, 30% offense, right? I'm evaluating both, but I'm evaluating the defense more, thinking that the ball handler dribbler stuff, the illegal violations, etc., will potentially call themselves. They'll be so obvious that we can pick them up out of our peripheral. So that would be my counsel on that as a young official, is really say, look, I'm going to focus on the defense. I'm going to ignore the ball handler. So use that as a starting point and then work backwards. recognizing that you may be doing just the opposite. I'm evaluating the ball handler. Oh, how did that player get there on defense? So this play was submitted by Young Yip. I do not think he's afraid to call a player control foul. He's a really good official. I think this one just snuck up on us. That's my opinion, right? He's also a collegiate official, so collegiate officials, are going to gear their mechanics to the collegiate game and then modify, hopefully, try to modify back to high school. You don't want to bring your high school mechanics into a collegiate game. That's usually the perspective that officials have. I don't think the screening is a part of the play, David, but it could be a distracting element for our ball handler. Well, Chip, you're going to have to come up with some language. Yeah, the other thing, Chris, I think is we can always slow down. We don't have to. We can give ourselves a little more time to process. Yeah, I think he did. Didn't maintain it. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at our defender on the play. Right? At this point, I would say he has legal guarding position. He has left the screener. There has been a switch by the defenders. He says, I am taking the ball handler. He steps laterally. That is the maintenance of legal guarding position by rule. Thanks, Chip. Yeah. Daryl, I hear you. And as a collegiate official, so some collegiate officials are, I try to keep them separate, and it's difficult. I've got a collegiate game tonight. I don't want to bring high school mechanics in. I have a high school game tonight. I don't want to bring collegiate mechanics in. The problem is, what do we have? We have habits and fundamentals. And so we have to find a balance. And no assigner is going to say, I don't want this excellent official. We can't have him in our game because they're going to use some collegiate mechanics or what have you. It's not the most important thing. Is there any confusion about what the call is? Right? We're picking nits, etc. And if we, as we get to the playoffs and we're more, focused on high school mechanics, but it's a challenge, man. It's really a challenge. Stan says, looked like he extended a leg, but was there leg contact? I mean, if you are going to move laterally or obliquely in this situation, by moving your torso into the path, moving your torso, how is that going to happen? It is going to happen by first extending a leg. The question is all about the torso. There's torso contact and not leg contact on the play. All right. Awesome. Let me just take a look. Make sure I know where I am. Okay. All right, let's move on. Next play.
Pass in. Sandus right under
Blocked.
the basket. Block.
Stevenson. Ooh. Out.
It's one of those plays that makes you say, ooh, right? That's always usually a good clue about how we should adjudicate a play like this. Right?
Pass in. Sandus right under
Blocked.
the basket. Block.
Stevenson.
Uh-oh, hold on.
Ooh. Out.
Hold on.
Pass in. Sandus right.
Right, hard foul at the basket. Let's look at the actions of the defender. Is this excessive contact? Is this hard contact on a vulnerable player, etc.? Is there any intent in this situation, or is this just reckless action? Do we need intent in order to upgrade this play? To me, this is clearly excessive contact and needs to be ruled an intentional foul. The defender did not mean to contact the player, but they just left their feet in a reckless fashion and caused excessive contact on a vulnerable player here. To me, this is obvious excessive contact and should be ruled intentional. Was it flagrant? Did it meet any criteria of flagrant? An intent to harm, violent or savage in nature, or simply reckless on the play? If this same player to that airborne player had shoved a leg while they were airborne, causing them to turn in the air and fall, then you could say that was an intent to injure, right? In this play, I think we just have reckless behavior by our defensive player, but this is definitely rises to me to the level of an excessive contact foul. It's not a severe penalty in this situation. It's simply 2 shots, which they would get anyway, plus the basketball. NFHS is always concerned about injury to players, protocols, etc. We do not want rough play in our game. This rises to the level of that rough play and should be ruled an excessive contact, intentional personal foul by our crew. I agree with you, Chip, but I don't see flagrant activity on this play. Right? The player, basically their momentum is carrying. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at all the things. Right? Our defender is focused on the ball handler. We show remorse. Is that a factor in our judgment on the play? Yeah, so the first thing, the clue for our crew, I don't know how this play was ultimately adjudicated, but if our first reaction is, oh, right, then we should automatically be leaning in the direction of excessive contact. Jason, you have comment on this play at the basket? Cheese going going flagrant. Definitely reckless. Chuck has intentional. Yeah, so I mean, if we're gonna say, look, the defender, right, jumped in the air recklessly, but then they saw the player, the offensive player, and then what were their actions once they did that? Was it simply like, did he extend an arm? To me, I just don't see the flagrant act. It just doesn't rise to flagrant to me, right? But who knows? We're like, just into the game. Who knows what kind of game we've had at this point? Things that have come before, etc. But we could have that discussion on the court. It's like that's a really important consideration on a play like this, is if we're going to come together and talk about upgrade, what do you have on this play? You have to come to that with an understanding of what your ruling is based on what you saw on the play. We don't have replay available to us. What did you see on the play? If you came as the center official here and the trail, let's say the lead makes the call here and they just have a common foul. It's just like before they get to the table, we have got to talk about this play. Or not a common foul, but just a shooting foul. We have got to talk about this play. Here's what I have on the play. I have a flagrant foul on this play. You have to come in with that energy, right? And the trail official might come in and say, I have intentional. I don't see the flagrant action on the play. And then we can discuss it in that fashion. But you can't come in and say, well, what do you have? What do I have? Well, you could talk me into this and that. What's your ruling on the play as you saw it? Did you see a flagrant action? Right? This is critical that you come to that meeting with that in mind. Fight for your position. No, I saw him extend. I saw him see the player, seek them out, cause excessive contact in a fashion that could harm. I'm going to fight for flagrant. Another official says, I did not see anything that rose to the level of flagrant. I'm fighting for intentional. Right? And then you work it out as a crew. But it's really important to come to those meetings with your ruling, what you saw. Maybe you're the trail official. I have nothing to add. I know it was a hard foul. I just didn't see enough of the play. Right? We don't want to say, maybe he, what have you. Come to that meeting with your ruling prepared and fight for it as needed. All right. Fantastic. Love it. Thank you, dear. We're worked up. Why is this off center? The tech team letting me down today. Letting me down. But not the coffee team. Okay. All right. Anytime, Jason, I'm going to fight you on this, right? Anytime we see that contact that drives an airborne player into an off-balance position, man, that is reckless play. And it's rough play and needs to be penalized. Was it, and you could say the player, he did not mean to do that. That is not, whether you meant to do it or not, is not a factor necessarily on ruling an intentional foul. Stephen, I do not know the answer to that question. What was it, rule? JT thinks that he's not offering a hand. He has something to say, like, that's on you, bitch. Could that influence our ruling on the play? I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah, he offered him a hand. He offered him a hand. But, you know, the first reaction is he says something to him. It's probably like, apologies. Cool. Maybe Chris Janish can let us know how this. When the way he labeled the video submission made it sound like it was not ruled an intentional foul. We also know we got this little girl behind. Man, she could have been seriously injured. Oy, oy, oy. By a flying player. If the angle was a little bit different. These are the things we have in a high school game. Little kids. We're taking, Mike. I'm taking in all of the factors on a play. If our defender on this play turns and shows disregard, I'm thinking that's a factor. If they say something and then turn, that's definitely a factor. If they if they show that human reaction of oh God, I did not mean to do that, then that's going to be a factor. All of these are factors, but that remorse component does not change the fact that we may rule flagrant on this play. But these are the variables we're considering. Not upgraded. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I'm on the game and you don't want to upgrade, we are having a conversation. We are having and I'm going to fight for my position on the play. In the end, the calling official is the one who is going to make the ruling on the play. But if we're going to come together and discuss on a play like this, right, we're going to have all three officials, potentially. We're going to send players to their benches, potentially, if it's going to be an extensive conversation. But you need to fight for your position. If you see something that makes it rise to the level of flagrant, you have to fight for that and say, this is what I have. This is what the ruling should be. Can't stress that enough. And we can't just say, well, it's his call. We're not going to upgrade that? Wow, okay. And then we get back to the locker room, right? We get back, man, that was an intentional foul. I don't know how you didn't rule that. The game, right? The system is not designed for that, right? We have to bring what we have on a play to the table. So that's going to be that. That's going to be that, and that's going to be that. Let me make sure I know where I am. All right, player embellishment, always a factor on plays. Let's take a look at our next play. All right, great clip. We've got post players action. Ultimately, a double foul is ruled by the calling official. Let's look at all the things. There's a lot here we could take away. Right? We've got a defender who's trying to emphasize the fact that this gangly offensive player is, using their elbows in a fashion that is affecting their ability to play defense. Obviously, it's a smaller defender against a taller post player. Sometimes in that situation, our smaller players try to influence by doing actions like this. They're in a tough position of guarding the taller player, etc. But very neo on the play. Ultimately, our official rules a double foul on the play. We've got hold potentially by our defender around the waist, elbow displacement by the offensive player. Double foul is ruled. And then we move towards the table. Do we have all the information we need to report the fouls? Or do we need to look back, etc.? One of the things we can do at the spot, especially of a double foul, is be big, strong, etc. But take care of all your business at the spot of the foul, right? When we had the action of pointing to the two players, right? Let's at the spot, black 7, whatever the numbers are, black 23, red 34, double foul, etc. And if you're on the crew, what are you going to do about where we bring the ball in this situation, etc.? So we have the dreaded look back because we haven't taken care of business at the spot. Just gives us a chance to emphasize when we have a ruling, let's take care of all the activity at the spot of the foul and designate the spot of the resulting throw-in. In the end, the ball was on the wing. When we have a double foul, the resumption of play is at the point of interruption. So on this play, where's the ball when the double foul occurs? It's not, we're always instinctively, it's near the spot of the double foul, but no. Okay, so the ball is, we could say it's going to be brought in at the 28-foot line. The ball was on the perimeter at the time. Right? Excellent clarity at the spot. U2, double foul, right? Nobody's looking at this, right? So we have to tell the tale. We have to be very offer great explanation at the spot of an off-ball double foul because everybody in the gymnasium, all the stakeholders are watching the basketball, most likely. So, great takeaways on this play is our take care of business at the spot of the foul. As a crew member in this situation, know the rules, help your partner out who's very busy at the spot of the foul. They may designate for an end-line throw-in, but this should be at the 28-foot line using high school rules in 2023. So, a great clip to look at habits and fundamentals. Ooh, this is a collegiate game, I will say. So we've got, non-white uniforms. Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, Kevin, probably referring to the previous play. It's just like if you're an official who does not accept information from your crew, game, crew, you, right? Yeah. And the thing is, from different angles, you see different things. Yeah, very impressive body control. Yeah, collegiate game, Billy. Collegiate game. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I would call this rough play, right? We've got the offensive player who's very long and gangly, right? And he's using his arms in a fashion that potentially displaces the defender. Anytime we're officiating a big against a small, it's hard. It's hard because the small is going to do things that are kind of like gnats activity, and the big can sometimes do things that overpower the small. The small could be trying to embellish the things that the big is doing, etc. It's just difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I find to officiate in the game. We want to call the obvious stuff, but we have two players exhibiting gamesmanship. That could be a challenge. I guess once we got the displacement, the official said we've got to go double in this situation. Where are we? This is first half action. We're 5 minutes into the game. Kevin, I agree with you. Mike? Darwin, I do see a hand around the waist by the defender just prior to the displacement. Sometimes we may say, look, we're going to take the easy way out here. I mean, we've got this activity. How best to rule on this activity that's going to clean it up? Let's see if we get that hand around the waist. Right here. No. See how he seems to tug at 5? That's going to be visible to our calling official. Tough. Well, that's the other factor, Tom, on the play is obviously 11 is embellishing, or he's trying to say, hey, ref, look what he's doing to me. Oh, etc., as opposed to fighting through that contact, right? They've sort of shifted into the mode of either trying to communicate, look what this offensive player is doing to me that is illegal. You should call this ref, or just gamesmanship. I'm trying to do what I can to draw a foul on this big because this big is a challenge for our team to defend. Oh, so Mike says there may have been a precursor to the actual call, right? Because there's obviously this going on. Yeah, right there. He's like, first inclination is just like, okay. Yeah, that's a great pickup, Mike. Okay, awesome. All right, I go here. All right. Well, we've had tough calls in the game. Let's take a look at a lighter play for our bonus play. Basket interference is ruled. Is this the correct call on this play? Right? What can a player do in this situation? Wasn't the ball already through the basket? Let's take a look at all the things. Right? So when the ball is on or in the basket, a player cannot touch the ball or the basket. our player, when the ball is in the basket in this situation, contacts the ring. This is a violation by rule, one that's often let go because the ball was going in anyway, right? But this is an offensive basket interference violation by rule. Our calling official, when they go to the table, is very explanative, explains it very well what happened on the play, suggests that they pulled the ring down. I don't see that, but they definitely contacted the ring while the ball was in the basket, right? We could take a look at that. Whoops. Right, so our player contacts the ring. They grasp the ring with the ball on or in. This is a basket interference by rule. Now, if the ball had completely passed through the basket in this situation, and then they did the same action, then that would be illegal. But while the ball is on or in the basket, this is a basket interference violation by rule. Okay. Ridiculous. I don't understand this black under white. Again, I think this is a rule that just some officials are completely flummoxed by. I have officials who are telling me, so undershirts, black, white, or beige? First of all, let's see those beige undershirts. But it's like, what are we talking about? Come on, man. This is so simple, right? Home team must wear white if they wear undershirts. Visiting team may wear predominant color. Black could wear, or dark blue could wear. Yeah. Simple, straightforward. Visitors could wear predominant color or black. Whew. Yeah, right. So we are picking nits. This is a competitive game, second half action. We are adjudicating the play by rule. Again, this is a play that is often, allowed to let go, or the officials let it go because the ball was going in anyway. Darwin, on the previous play, a double foul, though, it goes to the point of interruption. That's where the ball is. Ball is, not where the foul occurred. Yeah, and the center on the play, Mike, does not have the best angle to make that judgment, although he probably sees the fingers curl over the ring. So, then he knows at that point, even though he has the backside look, that he did indeed contact the ring. It really is. It really is. The problem with enforcing the rules, so new rules come out, and we just have to recognize that different people take information differently. When new language comes out, oftentimes officials will find the wrong answer, or have it poorly explained to them. Right, the training that we receive at the association level may be super clear and obvious, with visual examples, really straightforward. Everybody's on the same page, etc. Is everybody at the meeting where that gets explained? But if it's poorly explained or leaves questions, then officials fill in the blank. It's a thing. It's a thing. All right, I have a couple more plays for live stream viewers. Let's do it, because we're running out of time, man. I got a full plate of activity
That's
today.
from the volleyball attack line for you. London hangs in the lane.
Now here's Kelly with the board. He'll run the floor for the Pirates. Force them to get a heat check. Oh, my word.
All right, a walk under play. Right, let's look at all the things here. First of all, we have that fall by the defender. Were they displaced? Were they trying to embellish, etc.? Shots missed. Rebounder goes up. A tall rebounder goes up over a small player on the inside. The small player backs into our airborne player. Let's take a look at all the things on this play. Right. That is a player trying to draw a foul. Right. So from this point, we have an airborne player, right? And so you see this with taller players. They'll extend an arm, over the smaller player because they can, right? The smaller player is not in their way, so they reach forward to get the basketball. This is not illegal activity. For our defender, for our white player in white here, we would have to have displacement in order for there to be a foul. So, but ultimately our player goes up and our defender, our inside player, backs under the airborne player. This is a foul on the inside player. Again, smalls versus bigs. How are we going to officiate that action? It presents challenges. If we had two players of the same size here, maybe we don't get this action because our small player is going to resort to things they feel are necessary in order to box out this very large opponent on the play. Let's take a look. Funky footwork, right? Ball goes up. Both players are ready to compete for the rebound on the play. Our player in white does not displace, does not move into our player on the inside, but rather finds a position, jumps, and there's nothing illegal about their activity. Player undercuts them. This is a foul we need to take. We need to rule in the game. This is not action we want in our game. And we always have to be aware of what small players do to try to compete with big players. They will do potentially desperate things, but this is an unsafe play, right? One that really needs to be addressed by our crew on the game. Ooh. Ooh. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah. Well, that's what you get for learning NBA rules, Chris. Yeah, it's just like this activity has no impact. That basket interference call had no impact on the play. So I think many officials just say, look, I'm setting aside the actual rule in this instance because it, even though it technically applied, it did not affect the play. But if you were the opposing coach, it's just like he touched the ball while it was in the basket. What are you going to say? Yeah, but we're disregarding that rule tonight, right? So that's a challenge. Mike has illegal contact. Yes, right? So we had the initial play with the player going down, no call. We've got the action by our ball handler, which may rise to the level of a travel, depending on how you interpret it. We've got defensive contact on the shooter, and then we've got the rebounding action on the play. So, yes, a lot going on. Awesome. Yeah, you can make that case. Did he travel? Thanks, Darwin. I got one more play. Let's do it, and we'll get out of here. All right, next play. simply a chaos reigns play. We do have this initial trip right here. Was that illegal activity by Black 15? I don't think so. Our defender, or opponent rather, steps on the back of their heel and falls. Even though the leg was extended, I don't think it was extended unnaturally here. He's just attempting to get around. Players on the floor. Chaos, right? We go in to potentially make a ruling on a held ball, but then the official does a great job of getting a perspective on the play. We've got leg contact. Foul is ruled. These officials use the better mechanic of having the trail simply report, go back to the spot, and administer the throw-in. Just a chaos reigns play. Gotcha, Chris, on the previous play, yeah. Yeah, okay, Tanya, but so this, that, so it's just like you have to question the engagement of the crew on the previous play, where all these things are going on and there's no whistles in the game. That's a much more interesting play. Let's go back to that one. We are in the third period, high-scoring game. Not a lot of fouls in the third period. So Promise? All right. I am done for the day. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody joining today. We got out in 90 minutes. Not bad. My objective is 75, but the tech issues continue to rear their head. Again, we're going to have a stern talking to with the tech team. Hopefully our crew will be intact before our next live stream. Appreciate everybody joining today. I am going to make a move. And we'll see you next week for 5 Play Friday. Take care and enjoy those games tonight, especially if it's your first game of the season. And don't screw it up. Take care, everybody.